Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss materials, metals and non-metals. This is for class 8, subject science, chapter 4, lecture 6. And in the end, I will be discussing homework solutions of lecture 5 as well. So let's start with the lecture. Topics to be discussed. First will be application of metals. The another one will be applications of non-metals. So, applications of metals. Metals are generally used in making of machines. You must have seen so many machines of metals in your day-to-day life also. It is also used in making of automobiles, and they are also used in making of airplanes, cars, satellites, etc. So here I will be going to tell you the examples of like how the metals are used in making machines. So here you can see two machines in front of you. Okay, one is the this machine which is used by the tailors also. Okay, the stitching machine, and the other machine is used in the in many of the metro stations and other places also. So these machines are made up of what? They are made up of metal. Okay, so metals are used for making machines. In this picture, this is the basic design of a car. Okay, either it's a car or it's a bus or it's a truck. All have an use of metals for the construction, and even the machines by which they are cutted or by which they are framed are also also made up of metals. Okay, so they are used in the production of cars also, trucks also, buses also. In satellites also, respective metals are used. As you can see in the diagram, metals are used in satellites also. And I hope everyone knows the function of satellites. They use in the transmitting of signals, etc. So satellite also, the metals are also used in satellites. Second is, some metals are used in making wires like copper, iron, etc. So you must be knowing the electric wires which we are having in our houses. There is copper inside those wires. Okay, so copper is what? It's a metal. Because of the property of metal, that metal are good conductor of electricity. Copper is a metal and it's a good conductor of electricity. That's why it is being used in the electric wires. In this picture, you can see a copper wire and iron wire. As copper and iron both are metals, so they have a property of ductility, the property which shows that metals can be beaten into and can be turned into the wires. Okay, so they are good conductor of electricity, and they have a proper of ductility also. Fine. So this is one of the use of metal. Third is, some metals are used for making or ornaments like gold, silver, etc. So what happened? Some of the metals, for example, gold, silver, platinum, etc., are used in making ornaments also. Okay, and you can see example what kind of ornaments are there. So this is a gold ornament, and it's a gold necklace with the earrings. So these kind of jewelries can be made by the gold. Okay. This is a silver ornament. Silver is a metal, and though it is cheaper as compared to gold, and this also been used in making the jewelry. Now we will study about applications of non-metals. The oxygen necessary for all living beings to survive is a non-metal. We know that we cannot survive without oxygen gas. If there is no oxygen, we will die. Okay, so that the oxygen which is necessary for all living beings to survive is a non-metal. As you can see in this figure, we are taking oxygen gas and CO2 is evolving. So oxygen gas is needed for breathing, for respiration. If there is no oxygen, we will not be able to survive, exist. And Earth is the only planet which has oxygen because of plants. Because plants are autotrophic, in the presence of sunlight and green pigment chlorophyll, they perform photosynthesis and release oxygen gas and take inside carbon dioxide. Because of that only the oxygen gas is coming, and oxygen gas is an non-metal, and one of the application of oxygen, or one of the application of non-metal will be that we can respire through it, we can breathe through it. Next is, some non-metals are used as fertilizers to enhance the growth of plants. Some of the non-metals are used in enhancing the growth of plants also. This we have studied in chapter 1, crop production and management, when we have learned about the chemical fertilizers. Okay, one of the chemical fertilizer is phosphorus. So in the next slide, you can see an image of phosphorus. Phosphorus is present in the soil, and it is responsible for the growth and enhancement of the plant, and it's one of the component of the fertilizer, and it's a non-metal. Now next application is, some non-metals are used for water purification. You must be knowing this, that chlorine is a non-metal which is used in water purification. Water is treated with chlorine to kill bacteria. Okay, and after treatment with chlorine, the water is fit for drinking also. So for making water purified, for making water fit for drinking, chlorine is a non-metal which is used. Then some non-metals are used in antiseptic. As you can see in this bottle, it is povidone iodine surgical scrub solution. It's an antiseptic. The doctors and the medicines, it is being used by the doctors before and after the operation, and we have a normal this antiseptic solution in our houses also, known as betadine, that also contains iodine. As you can see in this one, not just for the preparation, providine iodine reduces joint infection risk also. Fine, so this has been applied like this. You must have seen this. Okay, and it's in a bit brown color solution, and it's an iodine solution. Normally betadine is the name of the solution, and the doctors use before, like if you want to cut this particular part which he is applying on the person hand, then after putting an antiseptic of iodine, he can put a needle or a blade on this. Okay, so this is used in surgeries. And non-metals are used in crackers also. Like crackers are made up of non-metals. Okay, they are non-metals are used in crackers as well. Example, sulfur. So here you can go in a one roll that diamonds is a non-metal. It's a chain of carbon. Diamonds are mostly used in making jewelry, and sulfur is used in making matchsticks tips also. You know that the matchstick tips, when get attracted with the matchstick box, what happen? It start burning. So sulfur is being used. Sulfur is used in crackers also. Sulfur is an ingredient in making paints also. Fine. So all these are the uses of non-metals together again. So homework for today is, learn and revise all the exercise questions and answers of NCERT. Okay, and learn applications of metals and non-metals also, which you have studied today. Now we will discuss homework solution of lecture 5. Question number 3 was given to you. Fill in the blanks. First, phosphorus is a very dash metal, non-metal. So the answer is, phosphorus is a very reactive non-metal. Next, metals are dash conductors of heat and dash. So answer is, metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. We have also studied the application of the phosphorus and metals today, that phosphorus is used in fertilizers. Okay, it's a very reactive non-metal. And for metals, we have studied that they are used in wires also, and they are like copper is used for the for the wires, and they are used in the electrical appliances also. It is there in the switchboards also. So it is a good conductor of heat and electricity. That's why it is being used. Next is iron is more reactive than copper. This we have studied yesterday, that iron and copper displacement reaction. When copper CuSO4 is present and we are adding iron nails, what was happening? That it was turning FeSO4 and copper was separated. So because iron is more reactive than copper and it comes above the copper in the reactivity series of metal, that's why iron will remove copper from its salt solution, and it is more reactive than copper. Then we have talked about metal reacts with acid to produce hydrogen gas. This we have studied yesterday, that whenever the metal reacts with acid, it produces hydrogen gas. Next part is question number 6C part. Copper cannot displace zinc from its salt solution. So the copper is not be able to displace zinc from its salt solution. Why? Okay. So answer for this is answer C, sixth part. Copper cannot displace zinc from its salt solution because zinc is more reactive than copper. Fine, according to the reactivity series of metals. So you have studied reactivity series of metals yesterday. So zinc is more reactive than copper because in the reactivity series zinc was coming above copper, right? So copper will never be able to displace zinc from its salt solution. So copper does not react with the zinc sulfate solution, hence copper does not displace zinc from zinc sulfate solution. Copper is not going to react with zinc sulfate solution, so copper is not going to displace zinc from zinc sulfate solution also. Fine. More reactive metal displaces less reactive metal easily from its salt solution. More reactive metal will always displace the less reactive metal easily from its salt solution. And how you will know that this particular metal is more reactive than the other one? This you can know from the reactivity series of metal. If you see reactivity series of metal, zinc comes above the copper, so that means zinc is more reactive than copper. Next is sodium and potassium are stored in kerosene. So the answer is sodium and potassium are highly reactive metals from the reactivity series. Fine, sodium and potassium are highly reactive metal because potassium comes the first, then sodium. Okay, and these two are placed above in the reactivity series, so they are very highly reactive metals. When it is kept in open, it easily comes in contact with the air to form its oxide and cause fire, and when sodium alone reacts with water to form its oxide, liberates heat that increases its temperature and it causes even blast and catches fire. Okay, so the sodium is and potassium are so much reactive that they come in contact with the air and they even blast and catch fire also. That's why they are kept in kerosene oil. Thus, it is immersed in kerosene oil so that it becomes less reactive and it decreases the temperature of sodium and acts as a barrier that prevents from not to be in contact with air and even with water. So because of this they have been kept in kerosene oil, because this kerosene oil will become as a barrier, okay, and it will prevent the sodium and potassium to get contact with air or even with water. Okay, so that's why they are kept in kerosene oil, so that they will not get react with the air and water. Now next question is, what happens when dilute sulfuric acid is poured on a copper plate? Okay, what will happen if the dilute sulfuric acid will be poured on copper plate? So copper is a metal, dilute sulfuric acid is an acid. When dilute sulfuric acid, that is H2SO4, reacts with copper, that is Cu, it forms a copper sulfate, that is CuSO4 solution, and water. And sulfur dioxide gases evolve. So in this reaction, Cu plus H2SO4, it will give CuSO4 plus H2O plus SO2. Okay, and there is a sign of an arrow with SO2, that means sulfur dioxide will get evolved. Okay, first of all, be clear with this thing. If it's written Cu, in bracket it is written S, that means Cu is in solid state. Okay, then it is written in front of CuSO4 aqueous, that means this is there in aqueous state, and it is written H2O bracket L, that means H2O is a liquid, it is in there in liquid state. SO2 is a gas, it's written G, that means it's a gas, it is there in gaseous state. Fine. Cu plus H2SO4 will give CuSO4 plus H2O plus SO2 will be evolved. So in the reactivity of metal, copper is placed below the hydrogen. As I told you yesterday, those metals which are below the hydrogen will be less reactive, and the ones which are above the hydrogen are more reactive. Okay, so it cannot displace hydrogen easily. There is no evolution of hydrogen gas. Because of this, the hydrogen gas will not get evolved. Now next is, iron nails are placed in copper sulfate solution. Write word equation of the reactions involved. When iron reacts with copper sulfate solution, it forms ferrous sulfate and copper that deposit on the iron nail. So this we have discussed yesterday, that what will happen if the copper in copper sulfate solution iron will be added, it will be forming ferrous sulfate, FeSO4. So the equation will be Fe, that is solid, plus CuSO4, that is aqueous, will give FeSO4, that is aqueous, plus Cu. So iron plus copper sulfate will give iron sulfate plus copper. And you can write, so in front of copper it is solid, in front of iron it is solid. As iron is more reactive than copper, it displaces copper from copper sulfate solution. This we have discussed, right? Because iron is above copper in the reactivity series, so it is going to displace copper from copper sulfate solution. Fine. And the color of copper sulfate solution is blue, and FeSO4 is green, that we have discussed today, and you have seen the experiment also in that activity. Next question is, Saloni took a piece of burning charcoal and collected the gas evolved in a test tube. Okay. A part, how will she find the nature of the gas? B part, write down the word equations of all the reaction taking place in this process. Fine. So you need to study that Saloni is a student. Okay, is taking a burning charcoal and collecting the gas evolved from that burning charcoal in a test tube. Fine. Now what will happen? How she will find the nature of the gas, and what are the reactions involving in this process, that we need to discuss. So let's see the answer. Charcoal contains mostly carbon in it. When charcoal burns in air, it reacts with oxygen and forms carbon dioxide gas. So what will be the gas which is coming out, which is collected by the Saloni in a test tube, is carbon dioxide. That evolves. Okay, fine. So what will happen? In a test tube containing gas, add a few drops of water. Now cover the test tube and shake well. After shaking, test the solution with blue litmus. Okay, it will change, blue litmus paper, it will change from blue to red. Thus gas is acidic in nature. So this is how you can check that gas is acidic in nature. Fine. Next part was, when carbon reacts with oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide gas. See, everyone knows that when carbon is getting charcoal is a carbon. It is getting react with what? It is getting react with oxygen. So it will form what? It will form carbon dioxide gas. And there is a evolution of this gas. So what could be the reaction? It's very simple. See, carbon from charcoal plus O2, that is the oxygen gas, will give what? CO2. And arrow means the CO2 is getting evolved. Fine. So this will be the reaction for this question. That's all for today. Thank you.